What is going on, Wix Nation? Are you fired up? Because I'm fired up. MPS here from Wix Training Academy, and I'm fired up because today I'll be bringing you a complete guide on actually building a custom blog here in Wix, which is some incredible new functionality that I would really encourage you to use. And hey, if you're just joining us for the first time, thank you very much for watching the content. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that subscribe button and press those bell notifications on so that way you never miss any content here on the channel, and you'll instantly plug into the largest Wix training community on the internet. We're only continuing to grow thanks to you, and I would love to have you here. We as a community would collectively love to have you involved, and I am excited to deliver today's content to you. So without further ado, I'm going to do something that's pretty tough for me. I'm going to shut my mouth for a second and allow you to jump into today's content. Okay guys, so we're here in our Wix editor. I'm starting with a blank template to show you kind of how this is going to work. So I'm going to break this video into a couple different sections. One, we're going to actually add our blog. Two, I'm going to show you how to access the database for the blog. And then third, we're actually going to design the blog. And when I say design, I mean I'm going to show you the functionality portion of designing your blog. So that way you can actually take that functionality, make it work, and then you design it how you would like your blog to look. And that's exactly how this video is going to be broken into today. So first and foremost, as I mentioned, we are going to go ahead and add our Wix blog, because no matter what, even though we are building a custom blog, we still need to add the Wix blog in order for this to work. So what you're going to do is you're going to see start blogging here in the editor. You're going to click that, and you're going to click add now. This is then going to work its magic, and while it's working its magic, it'd be much appreciated if you could hit that like button right down below this video. And now you see it gives you an option. Do you want just the Wix blog or Wix blog plus a members area? So essentially the difference here is the blog is just a blog. The Wix blog plus the members area gets you building more community within your blog, which I always am a proponent for. As you can see me building Wix Nation. I'm a proponent for building Wix Nation. So I'm going to go ahead and press Wix blog plus members area. And again, this is your preference. It really has zero impact on today's video. I'm going to press next. Wix is going to work its magic. While it's doing that, you guys can head over to wixtrainingacademy.com. That is the website for Wix Nation. If you click join the academy, you can get free access to Wix training content. I'm also launching a 3-day workshop over there for building an online course in Wix. So if you want to get involved in that, you can also do that. But just head over to wixtrainingacademy.com, click join the academy, and get free instant access to a bunch of awesome Wix training content, and you'll join the community. So we've got our blog loaded up here, and this gives us our standard Wix blog format. So I'm really not going to be touching too much on the standard Wix blog format today, because I'm going to go into more of the architecture of being able to create a custom blog on Wix. So a couple things you do need to note though, with the standard Wix blogs, you've got your normal settings. So if you click that settings tab, you can still change your display, let's let it load. You can change your display, you can change your layout, you can change your design. So what I do want to make clear is theoretically you can take this current Wix blog that they provide you and make it custom. You can show certain information, you could change the design of it, and that'll make it more custom, but you are still limited to the layouts that Wix provides you. So you don't have a complete amount of customization over what your blog page looks like, what your blog as a whole showcasing your whole showcase looks like, your category pages, stuff like that. Whereas that would be different when you create a custom Wix blog. You're not confined to just the layout that the standard Wix blog offers you. But I did want to make it clear that you do totally have the ability to customize this standard Wix blog, at least a good amount, just not totally and completely. So just keep that in mind when you're deciding whether or not you want to go with a full custom blog or not. Like I said, you could come in here, change design, the menu, the post, the text, the font, all that good stuff. Then what you're going to see is you're going to see manage posts. This is going to be your standard, whether you have the regular Wix blog, the standard, or you create a custom one. Because what's going to happen is all of your blog posts are going to go to a database here in Wix. And from that point, you'll be able to customize how that data is displayed. Okay, so what I mean by that is you can see all of these blog posts right here would show on the standard blog just like they're going to show on your normal or on your custom Wix blog. So to create a new post, you would press create post, and then you can come in here and you can work your post magic. I've done a video already on creating a standard blog in Wix, and all of this stuff is the same. I'll link it in the cards above. But here's where we start to differ, okay? So here's where I'm going to show you the different approach. That is creating a custom Wix blog, which means in order to do that, we have to activate our Velo development tools, and then we're actually going to utilize repeaters and connecting data elements to customize the design and look and feel. So we added our Wix blog, we added our members area, and this is what the standard looks like. But let's just say we don't want the standard. We are going to go ahead and create our own style, right? So what we would do is we would add a new page to our site menu. We could just add a blank page. And then once that loads, for now, I'll just write blog new on it, all right? And then once we've got that loaded, what I'm going to do is I'm actually first and foremost going to add a strip because strips just make your life so much easier and it keeps your regular editor more responsive with the elements. So what you're going to want to do is you're now going to want to come through here and design what you would imagine you would like your blog to look like. So for instance, let's just say we're going to have a featured image on all of our blog posts, and you want to highlight one featured blog post, and you can change this how often as you'd like. You can make it the most recent blog post every time. So let's just say I upload from computer, or here I'll actually go take an image from one of my other Wix accounts. All right, Wix my website. There we go. And then I'll pull the Wix Masterclass image. So I'm going to pull this image. I'm going to put it here on the page. Now, all this image is going to be is a placeholder image. Why? Because this is going to act as our featured image for a blog post, okay? But the reason I say it's going to be a placeholder image is because this is going to be responsive, which means once we connect it to our database, it's going to change depending on the new post that comes in every single time. So this image will actually change. And then over here on the left, and everything I'm adding here right now as far as design and text-wise is all going to be responsive. But it's going to be a placeholder right now just to keep the place of the design so we get the architectural design of what we want. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to add header 3, and I'll put it about right here. I'm going to style it up a little bit for you guys just because why not? And then I'm just going to say blog title, and then I'm going to add a paragraph. I'm going to line it up. I'm going to extend the paragraph a little bit. And I'm going to say, after I change the font here, blog post description. Now you can choose how much you actually want shown here. Okay, you can choose how much text you actually want shown here. And I'll show you how that works. But I would encourage you to put the title and a little blog description. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a button. And I'm just going to add this one right here. And we'll add this down here. And we'll match it up with the bottom of the picture. And then we'll have this button say, read more. And what that button is going to do is it's currently acting as a placeholder, but when that's clicked, it'll allow them to go view the blog post, okay? So now we've got a featured post up top. Now here's what I like to do for the next portion. What I'm going to do now is add a repeater, because now what I'm going to have is I'm going to have a repeater display all of the other blog posts, not the featured one. This is like our core featured blog post, and the way it's going to work is it'll feature the newest blog post added each time a new one's added. And then I'm going to add repeaters so that way we're able to display additional blog posts after, but we don't have to change the design and do what we did here each time. Watch. So if we go to add, and then we go to lists and grids, I am going to just pick one of these repeaters. I'm going to pick this one right here. Okay, I'm going to drag this down here. Perfect. So now I'm going to switch this stuff around a little bit. You can see if I make a change on this top repeater, it'll delete that design all the way down, because how a repeater works is that the design will stay uniform, it'll stay the same, but the data is dynamic, so the data will change. And I'll show you how to connect the data here in a few moments, so that way it will change, right? So I'm going to delete this line too, and then I'm just going to make this little paragraph here. I'm going to change, once again, our font. You can change it to Lato Light, drop the text down a little bit, and then I'm going to add, and I'll show you how this works, a blog title again. And I'm going to update the font here. Now watch, since I added that there, it gets added all the way down. But again, it says heading 4 here and blog title here because each of these will show different data in it. Each of these will show different data. But I don't want this blog title hugging that close. And you know what? I'm actually going to center the blog title. And then I'm going to copy this read more button, and I'm going to paste it down here, because we want to give people a way to be able to click to read more. And then this will be our like featured image, the blog image, right? So now we've got our custom blog design. Now here's the deal. I preface this in all of my recent videos. I am not a designer. This is ultimately, it's not horrible, but it's a pretty crummy design just because there wasn't much thought put into the actual physical design. I'm showing you the architecture. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to design your blog exactly how you want it to look. But now the next step that I'm about to show you is really the key to make this entire thing possible. So as long as you follow along and watch this next step, you can design and change and customize your blog in any way, shape, or form, because you'll know exactly how to make sure the data is dynamic and change accordingly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open up our Velo development tools. We're going to turn on dev mode. We're going to let those tools load up, and while they're loading up, you can go ahead and press that like button or head over to wixtrainingacademy.com and click join the academy. Also, there's a card above for you to do that. I'm going to minimize, and I'm going to minimize that as well. Okay, so now that our Velo tools are activated, what we need to do is, if you go over here to Content Manager, you'll notice because we have our blog and it's published and we have those sample posts in our blog, Velo has automatically created a blog posts, blog categories, and also members badges and private members data databases. So if we click on posts from the blog portion of Velo, here's what you'll see. You'll notice a few things once our database loads up here. We'll let it load. It's going to fetch the data. And then you can see it shows all the aspects of your blog post. So you're able to use all of these individual fields when developing your custom blog. You can show the title, the date, the cover image, categories, plain text, an excerpt, hashtags, view count, all of these different things you can display. Now, I only chose to display title, excerpt, and cover image plus a link to the post page URL. That's what I decided to display. But what you're now going to need to do is you're going to have to connect the data to these elements on this new blog page. Now to do this, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Content Manager, you're going to go to add content elements, and you are going to add a data set to your page. Once you add a data set to your page, by the way, this is invisible, so when the website's published, people won't be able to see this little thing here. You're going to click settings. You're going to connect it to a collection. We are going to connect it to the blog posts collection. We're going to leave it on read only, and then you can actually choose the number of items to display here. So how many posts do you want to show on this page? By the way, this featured post, as I mentioned, is going to show your most recent blog post. So if you want it to show 20 blog posts, it'll show 20 blog posts here on this page. So this repeater will go down until there is theoretically 19, since one is shown up here. And then you can also, sort your data set as well. So you can choose whether the blog posts show new to old or old to new, or you can add other sorts as well. You can choose the published state. You can choose the most liked as to show for certain blog posts. You could show based off of comment count. You can choose all these different sorting features. But once you have the data set added, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to first click on your first element, and you're going to press this little connect to data button. It connects to the post data set, this data set, and text connects to title. That's our blog post title. Next one down, our blog post description. We're going to press connect to data, and then text connects to, on this one, excerpt, because it's going to show a little excerpt of our blog. And then we're going to click off, and you'll see it says connected to data. You'll see it turns green, successfully connected. Over here, we are going to press connect to data, and this one's going to be a couple parts. Image source connects to, that's going to be our cover image. That's the field it corresponds with in the database. And then we want link connects to, and then we'll want this one to be post page URL. So if people click this image, it takes them to the blog post, the post page URL. We are going to do the same thing for the button. We are going to press connect to data, and we are going to say click action connects to, and we want this to click to post page URL. So that way when someone clicks it, it takes them to the blog post page. Bingo, bango, boom. Now we've got our featured section set. We are going to do the same exact thing down here. We are going to come in here to our repeater, except this time what's going to happen is up here, this is the only thing that'll change, and this will stay that design. Whereas down here, this will keep a uniform design, but it's going to change. Each of these little sections are going to change and show a different blog post. So if we do the same thing, we'll connect to data. We want this to connect to the post data set, and text connects to title, blog title. Then we'll do our cover image, and we're going to connect to data, and we're going to say image source connects to cover image, and then link connects to post page URL. Then we're going to do the same thing over here for our description, connect to data, text connects to excerpt, and then for our button, connect to data, and click action connects to post page URL. Now, if I go ahead and press save on this, and I press preview, you've got yourself a custom blog. You can see that now this featured one also shows down here. The way you can avoid the featured one showing down here is if you wanted to, you can add an additional data set and only connect the elements up here to that data set, and you can add a certain sort to show only a featured blog post. So for instance, I'm just going to show you real quick after this. So now you can see all of our blog posts are added down here. Again, I'm not going for design points here, guys. I'm just going to show you the functionality. And then if you click on read more, it'll actually take you to the blog post page where you can then read more about it. And bingo, bango, boom, people can comment and they can read more. And if we had a menu up here, which I didn't add one just because I wasn't showing you that, we can press back to that blog page. But if we go back to the editor, so by the way, guys, that's how you create the custom blog. But what I want to show you that's, I think, important to note is that if we go back to blog new, the only other thing I could tell you is if we went to content manager, we went add content elements, added another data set, what we could do is we could change the settings. We'll connect it to the post We'll say number of items to display 1, and we'll pretend that it's this featured section. And then you can add a filter up here. Like you can add filters or you can add a sort. So field, you can choose view count, and we'll say the highest view count gets shown here. So if I now do the same thing, I'm going to reconnect to data, except this time it connects to dataset posts, dataset 2, text connects to, same thing. And essentially all I did here, guys, and I'm just going to connect it to literally the same exact thing except the different data set, is that I added an additional data set, so that way what gets shown up here on the featured isn't shown the same way down below, if that makes sense. And then link connects to post page URL, and then we're just going to do it with the button, just so you guys have an understanding of how this works. And you can see now why understanding how this works allows you to really have complete design customization, because all it really comes down to is making sure you have a data set and that you connect all the elements on your page to the respective fields in the database to pull the dynamic data. So now if we do the same thing, we press save and then we press preview, you'll notice, well, we'll see whatever one's the most viewed. Bingo, I just viewed this one, so it shows this is the most viewed blog post, and it filtered it based off of that, and you'll see now down here it shows the newest blog post to the oldest. And that's how that works, guys. If this video helped you out and you want to learn more about kind of creating these custom blogs, because there's a lot more detail I could go into, we could talk about blog pages, stuff like that, please drop a like down below and comment. Comment and let me know, 1, if you enjoyed the video, 2, if you want to see more, any questions you have, and comments help the video and they help the channel, so they're much appreciated. Lastly, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, turn those bell notifications on, and you'll instantly plug into the largest Wix training community on the internet. It's a fantastic place to be. I would love to have you, and collectively as a community, we would love to have you involved. We only continue to grow thanks to you, and I appreciate that. I look forward to seeing you on our next video, and don't forget to go click the card above or the link in the description below to access WixTrainingAcademy.com, join the academy, and get instant access to a bunch of free Wix training content. Thank you guys for watching today's video. I'll catch you on our next one.